Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Are you ready for a nostalgia trip back to the past? I sure as hell am. Welcome to my new Let's Play of one of the most iconic NES classics of all time, Super Mario Bros., released in 1985. This is going to be the very first of my new marathon project that I'm doing right now, called the Super Mario Bros. Super Marathon, which will consist of the four games that I was planning on doing a Let's Play of. And so we'll start with this one. We're going to start with the first of many. So, what do you say we go ahead and get started and take our little nostalgia trip to the past here? Starting with Wall 1-1. Let's go! Alrighty, so, I bet a lot of you guys have already known about this, Super Mario Brothers. I mean, what else can I say about this one? It is definitely, without a doubt, one of the biggest and most iconic classics, and, for dating back for video game history, there were times where, video games were a thing, and then they kind of started falling off the industry, and so, this is how this game existed, and it saved the entire game industry and became such a huge impact to everything that involves video games, in all of history of it all. And so, that's where, that's just where Super Mario Brothers comes into play, so yeah, it's definitely one of the Shigeru Miyamoto's most, one of the most ambitious projects. And now, granted though, this isn't, it's not exactly Mario's first game though. No, that was Donkey Kong. And so, back at the time, with Donkey Kong, then, he was called Jumpman, and so, well, I mean, I'm sure all of you guys know about this right about now. And so with the success of that one, then Shigeru Miyamoto wanted to experiment more on Mario himself, and so that's where his games come to play. There's more subsequent games like Donkey Kong 2 or Donkey Kong Jr., where Mario was the villain. And then there was Mario Brothers, which had Mario and Luigi in themselves, basically those are arcade classics. And then after that, then came this game. So that's a little history with this one here. And so the reason I decided to go for this Let's Play to begin with, with Super Mario Brothers, because I know that earlier, or back then, when I first started this channel, let's see, you know how, my very first Let's Play was Zelda 1, and, well, this is back when my channel was called Highly an Alchemist, and then I went straight over to Super Mario 64, so it's basically like I skipped so many Mario games ahead, and just went for that one, and didn't even bother to tackle this game, and I was looking back, and I realized that, you know what, I kind of feel bad that, I just went and jumped ahead and never really bothered with the classics, and that was actually at the time where, I could have just downloaded off the Wii U eShop, but, I didn't really have a job then, and so I didn't want to spend so much money here, even though I still had some Virtual Console games. I mean, I also had Super Mario Brothers on the Wii Shop channel on the Nintendo Wii, but I wasn't able to get on the Wii U, and that's why I found out that there were save states, and so the Virtual Console of the Wii didn't have the save states, and I know that since Super Mario Brothers is definitely a very challenging game, and I'm gonna need those save states because, well, one thing I will have to go out of the way is that it's one of those games where back then, if you actually get a game over, you were sent all the way back to the beginning, and that's why people wanted to use save states, either on emulators or just on the later consoles like the Wii U or the Nintendo Switch. And so, if you're wondering if am I actually using an emulator, well, the answer is no, because I don't really like using emulators for my Let's Plays, unless I absolutely have to, though. As a matter of fact, I'm actually playing this on the Nintendo Switch Online, because not only does that have the save feature, but also it has the really cool feature they can do, the rewind feature, and it's probably a godsend at this point, where, in case there's any fuck-ups here, then I can always just rewind. And I know it's basically the kind of a cheap way, but the thing about it is, though, is that, just like I've been saying where this channel is anyway, this is post-commentary, and so that way there, since I'm actually just, seeing the game and commentating over it, then I can actually just rewind while I'm recording this, and then that way there you wouldn't really see the fuck ups. So that's kind of thing with post commentaries. I know it's kind of cheap and all that, but I mean, if I was actually doing a Let's Play live or maybe even live streaming this, then yeah, you probably would have seen me fuck up a lot more times. So yeah, that's kind of thing there. But anyway, so I figure, you know what, I've jumped ahead here, and I kind of feel bad for that. So now that I have the access to all those games I ever could, then I figured, you know what, I think it's time for me to do a Let's Play of these classes, to just go back to it, just to make up for it. So that's why I want to go for this one here. And as you can see here, I'm actually playing the original Super Mario Brothers on the NES, and well, there's also the All-Stars port on for the Super Nintendo, which actually does have a save feature where you can just make some save files. And, I know some of you guys are saying that I could have played the All-Stars version instead. And, you're right, I could have. But I want to play the original because, well, it's the original. And, I mean, I can just do it on my channel, so. Anyway, so I really so I jumped ahead right here for this here, so I should talk about the game itself. So, Anyway, so we did World 1, and then basically each of the worlds consists of the worlds. Oh, and also, after you feed one of the Bowser clones here, you got Toad here. Thank you, Mario! But our princess is in another castle. Oh, yeah, of course, yeah. You already see that 6 more times, and actually, if you look much closer here, it is, you might just see him pointing out the middle finger. Well, essentially what it is, it's basically a fuck you to thinking that you just rescue the princess here, but nope, it's just a cop-out. So, anyway, enough of the history, or like, my kind of a history of the games here. Let's go talk about the game itself. So, anyway, so to those of you who might not know, you probably shouldn't know right about now, but I'm just saying it for those who would somehow be not aware, because, I mean, there could be people out there, you never know. This game takes place in the fictional Mushroom Kingdom, and the story is that Bowser, the evil king of the Koopas, which is basically what these turtles are called, the Koopas, has kidnapped the princess, or Princess Peach, or Princess Toadstool. Well, actually, back then she was called Princess Toadstool, but then she would later be named Princess Peach, starting with Super Mario 64. And so what happened was, he's basically using his black magic to try and conquer the Mushroom Kingdom, and he used that kind of said magic to transform all the inhabitants into blocks. Which, of course, according to what the instruction manual said. And so, therefore, by hitting those blocks, Mario is essentially committing a murder. Or maybe not, because, I mean, I know they later retcon this in Bowser's Inside Story, so I don't know. Continuity is kind of weird in the Mario universe, so... Anyway, so yeah, that's basically what it is. Bowser kidnaps the princess, and also in the Japan releases, he's called King Koopa, but internationally he's just called Bowser. But yeah, that's basically what the simplicity is. Just with Bowser kidnapping the princess. But this is actually back in the early NES days, like with just simple stories, and that's kind of thing with Mario games. Well, a lot of the Mario games they're very simple in story, so. While those are, while the plots are very weak, of course, in themselves, what really matters though is the gameplay. Like, storylines was not really a thing back in the day. What really mattered was the gameplay, and my God, if there's one thing that Mario is really good at, it's the gameplay. Because holy shit, Mario games are so damn good, and I know that as a longtime Mario fan. Having grown up with the Italian Plumber for so many years now. And I can never deny the fact that that so many of the Mario games are just so damn good. Like seriously. Like, I mean, if you think Mario, then you just think good gameplay. And so to talk about the game themselves, it's basically a, 2D side-scroller where you just go from, basically what you have to do is just reach the end goal, and they're very linear because of that. And I'm saying this because, what I'm doing here is, as far as controllers, I'm playing on the Pro Controller because I kind of feel it's easier for me, though. But, I mean, I could play with the NES controller, though, because that's also a definitive way to play it, but... Anyways, you basically just move Mario with the D-pad, and of course, he has a run button, which is basically holding the B button. So pressing hold that one, then this is where Mario can run. Just pressing A, then he can jump, and yeah, that's what he's well known for, is just jumping. And for running and jumping, this is what actually you need to do to begin with, is that you need to just, you're going to need those, especially for those leaps of faith. Especially for the later levels, because one thing about Super Mario Brothers is that, it's not exactly hard, or it's not the hardest game of all time, but it does get pretty challenging, especially in later levels. But, yeah, that's basically what it is with all the platforming, and I just lost the power up there. So yeah, that's basically what it is, just holding the B button to run, but you want to be careful, though, because there are times where you want to slow down and not run so much, and, I guess that's kind of what I do, just speed run through. And then, some of the levels will actually have some different environments, like, from grasslands to underground caverns, and then underwater sections that you saw before. And then, at the end of each world, where you get to the fourth level of each world, you'll reach one of Bowser's castles. And Bowser's castles are very dangerous. They're filled with obstacles and fiery pits or lava pits. There's fireballs and fire bars as well, and very little power-ups either. And so at the end of the stage, you'll actually meet Bowser, but of course it seems like Bowser, but it's actually not the real Bowser. They're basically just imposters basically regular enemies disguising themselves as Bowser. It actually shows where you use a fire flower on them, and you can actually see the enemy in question. That's basically what it is. You can actually either just use the fireballs on him, or just destroy the bridge with the hammer. And I was going to go ahead and talk about the enemies as well, but I reached the end of the video, so that's actually going to be for the next video, because we're about to beat the next Bowser imposter. But that's pretty easy, though. You just have to be careful and just hit the hammer, so... Anyway, so that should be the end of the video. Yeah, fuck you, Toad. So, anyway, next time on Let's Play Super Mario Brothers, we are going to do the next world, which will be World 3. So, what I'm doing, I'm actually breaking the videos into every 2 worlds. So, after beating World 2, then that's where I end the video, and then just kind of like goes for each of the for each of the two worlds. So that's basically the whole gist of the Let's Play. That's why the episodes are going to be very short because the levels themselves aren't really long at all. Like they take just no time at all. So there's a lot more to talk about with this game, but we'll get right to it once I get to the next few videos. So anyhow, next time on Let's Play Super Mario Brothers, we're going to go to the next worlds, which will be worlds 3 and 4. So I will see you guys next time.